Welcome to the Path to Purpose interview show, where we share our unique and universal stories about finding and fulfilling our purpose. My name is Katja and I'm your host and a mentor for Lightworkers. My intention for this show is to inspire you on your path to purpose. Today, I have the pleasure to interview Cajina, who is the founder and the president of Renewal, an international network provider of customized leadership development services. As a trainer and cutting-edge facilitator, he helps executives improve their leadership performance and capability through application of human science. That sounds super fascinating. So let's find more about Marcus and get his best tips how we can develop our leadership skills and also apply self-compassion in business. So let's get started. Welcome, Marcus. It's lovely to have you here.
Thank you, Katja, for inviting me. It's a great honor and privilege to be in your show.
Wonderful. So could you please tell us a little bit more about you, who you are and where you come from, so we can put you on the map? Because I know also you do so much more. I just briefly introduce you. So whatever you want to share more about yourself.
Okay, so I'm currently based in Spain, in Madrid, although my work takes me around the world, helping executives bring and expand understanding around leadership. So I'm just a normal human being. I'm nothing extraordinary. One of the things that we work a lot with executives, it's the fact that we play three roles simultaneously in everything we do in life. Whether we like it or not, we are leaders to those who are following us. And at the same time, we are followers to those who are ahead of us. And at the same time, we are students of the present moment. So we play those three roles at the same time. I would agree with Peter Drucker when he said that one of the mistakes he had done in his life is to let people to believe that leaders are only special people. Those who are talented, those who are brilliant, those who are gifted by nature with specific gene combination. My experience is that we are all playing those three roles simultaneously. So we are students, leaders, and followers at the same time.
Yes, I agree, and I love how you put it, because it makes yeah, that makes sense. I do those things. So let's tap into more about your path, because how did you end up doing what you are doing now? Because that's the path to purpose. Was there a special moment, like awakening or calling or something that happened that put you on this path?
That's a great question. In a nutshell, when I was little, by little I mean around the age of 12, 13, 14, I started asking questions such as, what's the purpose of life? And I loved philosophy when I was a teenager. And at the same time, I hated philosophy because it was very mental. Some of the theories were very mental, very elaborated, very complicated. And still inside of me, I thought, this cannot be that difficult. Life cannot be that difficult that only a very small group of highly brilliant intellectuals can grasp and understand. I just refused that only the gifted could understand the purpose of life. So I started meditating at the age of 14, and I started asking questions around, well, what's the purpose of life? So I both participated intensively in martial arts. So I traveled the world, went to China, went to Japan, etc., etc. And at the same time, I engage in spiritual practices. So I did all sorts of things. So simultaneously, I followed a normal path. I went to school. I was blessed to go to university. I did my MBA. And then, as you can imagine, having an MBA, I ended up working in business. So I started off my career in marketing and sales, fascinating 2 years. That gave me the feeling that that is not what I want to do. So
well, that was clear.
that was very clear. So that only shows how fast I am. It took me 2 years to figure out that that wasn't the thing I wanted to do. So then I went into HR. I did an international career. And then one of the things that I discovered in HR is that people were greatly dissatisfied. Regardless of their level of achievement, people were not happy. I did not find one soul that openly said, I'm fulfilled, I'm happy. Now, everything was conditioned to the level of achievement, and that included me. I was a high achiever, high potential, high performer. And then at the age of 35, 36, I guess I started to ask the question of, is this really life all about? My internal evolution practice together with my external evolution were diverging. They were not converging. So at the age of 39, I decided to leave the organization at the peak of my career. So that means I was over to be vice president in China. You know, you can name it. And then I decided to quit. So not many people understood my decision, and that includes my intimate circle. I went up and started up a business. And as you can imagine, everything fell through. And I went into 3 years of poverty. As poor as you can be in Spain without being homeless. So very short of cash, following my heart, following my service, if you like. The service in a nutshell was to unlock potential in people. So what is it that you want to do? And what can we do to support you in achieving that which is calling you in your heart? So that is a little bit of my career. And then after 3 years of poverty, where I confronted my deepest fears, my deepest shortcomings, I faced the fork of going back to the corporate world or starting up my current company, which is what I did. And since 2004, I've been helping executives around the globe to be more effective and at the same time to improving their well-being. I don't think those things are separate. We can bring high performance and high well-being at the same time.
Thank you for sharing that story, because it's unique to you, but yet it's so universal as well, because often when we follow the calling, do this drastic change where you shared like your inner circle was not like, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? Stay, go back. And how did you then find the courage and trust just continue on that calling that you felt like this is like where I was is now where I want to go back to. I want to do something different. And when you hear maybe different voices around you saying you go back or whatever that was, how did you pull through that and say like, I'm gonna continue, I'm gonna make this happen some way, somehow? What could be advice there? Because I know a lot of who are listening this might be in a similar like this turning points in their lives.
Well, there's a saying that many are called and few respond. So the calling is available to everyone. It's not. It's in my experience, it's not something special. The calling is always available. It's at hand, and I think and I believe that everybody at some point listens to that call. Now, how we respond to that call is what's going to make the difference. Some people go into denial, some people go and ignore, some people start paying attention to the mental rumination process. So it takes courage. It takes courage. And it takes courage not to listen. It takes courage to let go of those things that interfere with the calling.
Mm.
I think listening to the calling is very simple. Letting go of all those things that persuade you not to follow the calling, that's the hard bit. And I think some executives say to me, well, how would I know what my calling is? I said, well, just listen. And once you open up to listen, it will show up. It's all right. You will find out what your calling is, and it's very simple. However, the toughest part, at least for me, was to let go of all the distractions and all the right reasons why not to follow my heart, and all those voices around me saying, don't be stupid, go back to the corporate world. And, you know, powerful, persuasive, very right reasons why I should not follow my heart. Now, in my specific case, I went through whatever I went through. And I want to be very clear that that not necessarily has to be the way that the rest of the people will experience following their calling. So how that is going to unfold for people may be very, very different. So I want to be very clear that if you follow your calling, that doesn't necessarily mean that, oh my God, I'm going to lose my job, I'm going to be poor, oh my God, this is really worth it. No, it could be full of grace and ease and humor and, you know, whatever your path is your path. I'm just sharing what my path is. And I want to be very clear that following your calling doesn't mean that you have to go through a struggle and misery and suffering. Maybe it's just a sign of how stupid I am. And that was my path. And yet it was full of blessings. And I want to be very clear with people listening to this that yours may be entirely different.
Yeah, and thank you so much for framing that, because so often we hear about like, yes, I said yes to my calling and then I had all this struggle. So maybe that we start thinking like, that's what I have to go through. And then we don't want to take that leap of faith, so-called, to say yes to our calling, because we hear all the time that, oh, it might mean struggle certain time. Yes, it may, but it might not, because your path is your path. So it's just having that courage. And one thing I love what you said, like, I get so often like, how do I know what's my calling? Like, how do I know? So you just said, just listen and it will come. Simple.
It's very simple. One of the things that I hear a lot is that it takes a lot of contemplation, spiritual practice, 3 years in a cave in order to find out what your purpose is. That, in my experience, is not true. I think we all have access to our calling, and it's at hand, and it's very, very easy. Once again, letting go of habits, needs, fears, and the rest of it, that for me is the hardest thing. But that's for me. Maybe once you find your college, you're so full of enthusiasm that it's very, very easy. Now, one of the things that I'd like to share is that the moment we choose to follow our calling, the universe is going to put us under the test. And the universe, before giving us 100% support and conspire for our success, wants to know if we're really, really committing to our purpose. You see, the universe doesn't like wasting energy and wasting time. So before putting all the troops and all the support and everything that we need in order to be successful, is going to check us out. It's going to say, well, let's see if you really mean it. Because once we commit 100% to our purpose, it is guaranteed that the universe will conspire for our success. The requirement for that is to commit 100%. 99 is going to be hell. 100% is going to be a breeze. Reaching that 100% is what it takes to manifest your calling. And once you get to that 100%, you will see all sorts of synchronicities working around you. Meeting people that are open up a new opportunity. It's just fascinating to see. So when people say, well, how would I know if I'm following my call? Well, look around.
Yeah.
Are you finding synchronicities? Are things conspiring in your favor? And if the answer is no, don't blame the universe. Maybe you want to check and see if you're committing 100% to following your heart. That's the requirement. That's the entry password, 100%. So one of my mentors, John Royer, used to say, commit 100%.
Yeah.
For me, that's been a guiding question. Am I giving my 100%? And even if I'm feeling 60%, am I giving my 100% of my 60%?
Yeah, wow, I love that.
And if I'm in a down day where I can only give my 5% because, you know what, I'm not feeling great, everything is gloomy and dark, am I giving my 100% of my 5%?
I love that way how you put it. So that is definitely something for us to always check, and that can be like daily thing, like, where am I? Because that also helps you and supports you just have being aware of where you are. And then you can see, like you said, even if it's 5%, are you giving 100% of that 5% that you are capable to give? So just being aware and moving forward there. And one thing, because Marcus, you work with so many leaders, and you have give these workshops and guide them on their development. So what do you think are or from your opinion, what are the 3 main qualities for a true leader? Like, what are the qualities that stand out from all the people you have worked with?
That's a great question. If I had an answer for that, I would be a billionaire. So just bear in mind that there are 17 different theories around what leadership is. And there's about 5,000 books published every year around leadership. So either leadership is an evasive concept, or we are all very slow learners. So let me tweak that question, because your question was, what's a true leader? Let me tweak that and rephrase the question, how do you know if you are true to your leadership?
I take that answer too.
So, there's 3 things that I observe in leaders today. One, probably the hardest thing for a leader today is to stop and reflect. People are so busy, people are so obsessed with performance that they find no place to stop and reflect. Those who actually stop and reflect, they don't actually reflect, they go into rumination. So in rumination, they start self-flagellating themselves, the harsh self-criticism, it's pretty miserable, because it's all about beating themselves up because they are falling short in their performance. So there's no surprise people avoid stopping and reflecting, because all they experience is a lot of suffering from this rumination. Now, reflection is on a positive way, is just accepting what is. And accepting what is means the good, the bad, the sweet, and the godly. What's working, what is not working? That's the guiding question. Now, if things are working for you, then continue doing them. If things are not working for you, please have the wit to just let it go. So we go into one of the keys, let go. So that's one of the things that I'm seeing. The second thing that I'm seeing in leadership is that people are still trapped in this idea of being a highly individual contributor. And the problem with that is that there's so much that you can do. And there's so much that you can grasp and control. So one of the things that I see is the addiction to control, because people have put their self-worth linked to how much they achieve. So depending on how much I achieve, I feel good with myself. The problem with that is that they become bottlenecks to the organization and they eventually burn out. There's so much that they can do and that's it. So the answer to that is to let go of the addiction of control. And that reminds me of the work of Anderson and Adams around scaling leadership. Is how do you become a multiplier? How do you actually develop other people? How do you include other people in the leadership? Remember what I said at the beginning? We are leaders, followers, and students at the same time. And some followers, they do not want to be leaders. They're very comfortable being followers. You just tell me what to do and things go wrong and I can always blame you. So the second thing that I see a lot in leadership is the opportunity to mature and to develop our consciousness. The third thing that I see a lot in leadership is this transition to collective leadership. Now, I want to be very clear, bringing two intelligent people together to work together, that not necessarily results in an expanded intelligence. So bringing two intelligent people does not necessarily result in enhanced intelligence. You can actually have collective stupidity. So how to become a team member, I think, is one of the challenges individual contributors are facing. What does that mean to be a team member? How do I know if I'm adding value to a team? So that transition from individual contributor to collective intelligence, it's one of the things that I'm seeing today. So in a nutshell, those are the three things that I'm seeing everywhere I go around the world, independent of gender, independently of the culture of the company within which they're operating, independent of their national culture or the upbringing culture. Those are three of the challenges that I'm seeing.
Thank you for sharing. That was so insightful, because I was also thinking like, is there some gender specific things, but you said these are the things for all and it doesn't depend even in the culture, these go for all. So you answered already my next question. So thank you so much for sharing this wisdom. And if there is one more thing, like for share with people, inspiring message or something for people who are maybe considering, who are in the crossroads, like, okay, I feel my calling and it's scary. I have all these doubts in my head. I have this inner circle saying, no. So what would be your message for them who are listening to us now?
Well, a couple of things. Moving forward requires the integration of three intelligences. Some people who follow their hearts, they forget to bring their head into the equation. Don't be stupid. You've got a head, you're bright, so you need to exercise your brain. So that means taking care of your family, taking care of your financials, continue to be creative in the way you approach the fulfillment of your purpose. So following the heart in itself doesn't mean to forget about the value of the brain. We've got a brain, use your brain. The second thing is develop courage. Develop courage is the intelligence around your guts, your gut feeling, your instincts. The integration of the intelligence of the heart, the intelligence of the brain, and the intelligence of your instincts is gonna make you very, very effective. Now, just following the courage and being blunt may be very stupid because you have no strategy, you have no planning. Now, equally, having all the energy around your head, I'm planning, I'm playing the game, I'm not ready, I'm not ready, I'm 20 years later, I'm not ready,
Not ready.
that's not going to work either. You need to connect the brain with your guts in order to become effective. So integrating the multi-intelligences is going to be important. The second thing that I would say is that you're going to make mistakes. That does not invalidate your purpose. It's just showing you that whatever you're doing is not working. So learn from it. One of the things that I've learned in South Africa is that they said to me, people are never the problem is the problem. And very often when we make a mistake, we make ourselves the problem. And then we start telling ourselves, God, I'm stupid, my mother was right, you know, I should have stayed in the company, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to go back to, you know, this naive idea of following the code is just plain stupidity. Now, hang on a minute. You are not the problem. The problem is the problem. So if things are not working, deal with the problem. Don't make you the problem. Because we are never the problem. The problem is the problem. And I'm pausing here because very often people make themselves the problem. And then what happens is that they establish the belief inside themselves, I don't know how to do this, this is wrong, I'm the problem. And guess what? That is the greatest limitation. When you bring unconditional love into yourself, you bring the best energy possible to continue moving forward. Now, if things are not working, deal with them and love yourself because you're not the problem. The problem is the problem, so deal with the problem. So that distinction, I think, is very, very important for people to realize and be very practical. You will be making mistakes along the way. So what? No drama needed. No flagellation. Oh my God, my grandmother was right. I should go back. And, forget it. Address the problem and continue loving yourself because you're never the problem. The problem is the problem.
Wow. That is, I just leave some moment for people to just digest that. And you can, luckily this is recorded, so you can go back and listen to that again. Because I feel that is a very key thing for many, to just start changing how we view things.
We are powerful creators, and the way we shut down is by judging ourselves. When we judge ourselves, we make ourselves the problem. Then we disempower ourselves, and then with reason, we see that we can't move forward. Absolutely right. You just disempower yourself. When we empower ourselves, and the best way to empower ourselves is to be self-compassionate and to be loving with ourselves, regardless of what we achieve, what we fail to achieve. When we have this faith inside ourselves that we're not the problem, and we've got everything that we need in order to be successful, and we've got the universe conspiring for our success, what we need to do is address what's ahead of us. And if what is ahead of us is not working, fix it. And if you don't know how to fix it, ask for help. And if you don't know who to reach out for help, start looking. So this is very, very practical. Very, very practical. Very, very simple. And yet we love making things very complicated. And as a result of that, we are so confused about what the right next thing is that we don't take the next move. How do we know what the next move is? Just be present. Whatever's in front of you, that's the next move. Deal with it. You know, life is conspiring for your success. Are you responding and cooperating with life in dealing with what is right in front of you? This is very, very simple. And my suggestion is have fun with the ride.
Thank you.
It's what it is, and your attitude is going to dictate your experience. So if you're not the problem, if you're dealing with whatever is in front of you, you can always bring a positive attitude. Why? Because that's the smart thing to do. And bringing a negative attitude is going to make the journey very, very hard and miserable. And, why suffer unnecessarily? It doesn't make sense. I mean, the Buddha said life is suffering. I would contest that might be true. And yet I do believe that suffering is an option. We get to choose if we want to suffer or we don't have. And it's one of the things that I've recently discovered is what matters is not what happens to you. What really matters is how do you respond to those things that happen to you.
Absolutely. And what kind of story.
Absolutely. So the way you respond is going to dictate. So I would encourage people to have fun with a ride. And sometimes when it's not fun, have fun with it. Have fun with the fact that it's not funny. Yeah. Eventually you're going to end up laughing. So you better start laughing sooner than later. So have fun with it.
And that is a wonderful way to close this interview. Have fun with the ride. And thank you so much, Marcus, for sharing all these very insightful wisdom and very practical things that people can take on and start doing things so we can move forward. And if somebody now is like, I want more, finding more information from Marcus, I want to have more of these wisdoms and I want to learn more. So what is the best way to reach you to continue learning from you?
Well, they can browse my website. It's renewalcompany.com. And if they want to write to me, it's very simple. It's marcos@renewalcompany.com. You can also read some of my articles in LinkedIn. That would be Marcos Cajina, Cajina. You will find some articles there, and you can always reach to me. I love hearing from people and supporting people. And the best thing you can do, obviously, is to go inside, listen to your heart. And if you feel prompted to write to me, just follow that instinct. I would reply.
Thank you. And I will put also all that information to the comments below so you can have easy links to access. So thank you, Marcus, for your time and these insights. It was such an honor to have you here as our guest.
Thank you, Katja, for living your purpose and opening space for people to reconnect with their hearts and to follow their hearts. I really love the project of encouraging people to finding their purpose. So I really appreciate you taking that leap and following your own purpose.
Thank you. And thank you for watching. If you want to find out more episodes of Path to Purpose, subscribe to this channel and I will see you soon. Bye for now.